from the local station, News 4 Jax starts now.
Tonight at 10, a woman who barely survived this horrific tubing crash that killed her best friend last year on the 4th of July. She's now telling her story.
And it's been so fast, like we were laughing, and next second I'm hitting the tree, so I passed out.
That was Victoria Nikiforova. Her best friend who died was Elena Pavlova. And today, Nikiforova and her attorneys announced a civil lawsuit filed against the boater who was towing their tube, alleging recklessness.
While the FWC is investigating the incident, we are not naming the boater because he hasn't been criminally charged. News 4 Jax reporter Eric Avignon joining us now with more on this lawsuit. Eric?
Well, prior to the crash, Victoria Nikiforova was employed. She was enjoying life with her daughter and her best friend, but her best friend died in that crash, and Victoria's injuries were so bad that she lost her job because she could no longer work, and now she has fallen on hard financial times. July 4th, 2024, a cell phone camera records what started as a fun time tubing on Black Creek. Victoria Nikiforova, who was pictured on the right, and her best friend, Elena Pavlova, pictured on the left, are both inside the tube being towed by a boater. This is where we pause the video because seconds later, tragedy strikes both women as they are towed too close to the edge of the creek as water conditions become too choppy. The two women were ejected from the tube.
Next thing what I remember, I'm flying in the air and hitting the tree.
Victoria was badly injured.
I had my pelvis crushed. I had my hip broken, which is not healing yet. I need to go for the surgery.
Unfortunately, her best friend Elena didn't survive. Elena's two children were orphaned. Elena, who is from Belarus, and Victoria, who is from Russia, were both widows and single parents who moved to the U.S. and became best friends who supported each other because they had no other family in the country.
It's very difficult for me, and in the same time, losing my friend who was more than a friend for me.
What looks like fun turns into horror real quick.
Wednesday afternoon, Victoria and her attorneys, John Phillips and Bill Walker, announced a civil lawsuit against the boater who was towing their tube. The lawsuit alleges the boater was reckless on the water while towing the two women.
It's speed, it's knowing the water conditions, it's failure to adjust, Billy.
And it's knowing when you can zig and zag and when you can't. I mean, it's kind of as simple as that. The bigger issue here, too, is having a requisite spotter on the back of the boat. You've got the person driving the boat that's going to be looking forward. It's really important to always have somebody on the back of the boat who's going to be checking to make sure that the tube's in the right spot.
We're just a few months away from the start of the 2025 boating season. Victoria and her attorneys want this story to be an example of what can happen when boaters are reckless on the water.
If you don't want me or Mr. Coker or Mr. Padgett or Mr. Farrer or Mr. Morgan or any of the other lawyers in this town coming after you for unsafe boating, then boat safely.
Now, a few hours ago, I reached out to the boater named in that lawsuit to see if he wanted to talk about what happened and to kind of hear his side of the story as it pertains to the allegations that are in the lawsuit. I must say that moments before you guys came to me live, I received a text message back from him. I'm not going to repeat everything that's in the text message, but I can tell you that he was not happy with the story and is now threatening to sue News 4 Jax because, again, he is not happy with the story that we've been airing. Reporting live, Eric Avignon, Channel 4, the local station.